board games. Does there reach a point on Christmas Day where the dinner's done, someone's fallen asleep, there's a tin of chocolates open on their lap, and everyone's loosening the belts? Does someone say, shall we get the board games out? This year, though, you've been encouraged to leave the dog-eared Monopoly box in its place because board games don't need to be a chore. Here to share some new board games for both lockdown, another couple of weeks to kill a bit of time, and Christmas, let's speak to Jim Cohen from whatboardgame.com. Morning, Jim.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'll be better for knowing what the must-have board games are. I mean, what's the one that I need to be having for my family Christmas this year?
Well, I think for family Christmas, the one I'd recommend would be a game called Top of the Pops. It's from a company called Big Potato Games, and they're really famous for making really fun party games that suit families and players of all ages. And the great thing about this game is it scales brilliantly, which means any number of players could play it. Ultimately, you're just playing a game where you draw 3 cards each per team, and you're trying to get your teammates to guess what is the song or the artist that you have in your card, either through one word, so you have a one-word clue, or you can sing or say a lyric, or the third way is use a kazoo. So you have to make the noise of by making them guess what the song is you're trying to do, and it's so fun. The great thing about it, of course, is you can play in any number. So you could have 2v2, 3v3, 10v10, it doesn't matter. So a perfect Christmas or Boxing Day game. It's so much fun.
Do you want to do one now? Do you want to do a kazoo now? Try and see if we can guess what it is.
Okay, I'm going to go for... Any clues?
I think Beth is jumping up and down. Beth knows it.
Hey, you, always on the run.
Gotta slow it down, baby. Gotta have some fun.
Spice Girls.
Very good. Stop right now. There you go. I mean, that's...
Is it? Wait, that is Spice Girls, isn't it?
Yeah, Spice Girls, you got it right. So you have just learned and played how to play Top of the Pops in less than 30 seconds. And that's the great thing about all these games, is that people think games need to be hard or complicated and they take ages to learn. We just did that in 30 seconds, and that is the game. You've just played it.
I reckon in a way, and it was sort of using that as a good example, that almost seems to combine a bit of sort of Pictionary, charades, name that tune, a pop... I mean, there is sort of some kind of enduring appeal of certain mechanics of board games that are brought to the fore year after year.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like the old parlour games from, you know, the 17 and 1800s. Nothing drastically has changed. They just turned it into, like you say, a mechanic that makes it fun and accessible for people. But if you're not into pop music, then they've got exactly the same game, Big Potato Games, called Blockbuster, and it's just the same game but for movies. It's awesome. It comes in a box that looks exactly like the cassette cases you used to get when you rented a Blockbuster back in the 80s, so it's got a real nostalgic feel to it as well. It's a lot of fun.
So do you have to do a movie theme on the kazoo for that one?
There's no kazoo for that game, sadly, but yeah, it's all movie related, but it's a lot of fun with it, and it adds a bit of competitiveness. But if you lose, you still have fun. It's not like Monopoly, where after 3 hours the only person that enjoys that experience is the winner. Everyone has fun, win or lose. It's just an entertaining way to spend your time.
Well, we were talking about this when you were talking to you. Nick was saying, I mean, your daughter, is it fair to say, not the best loser, Nick?
No, I'm looking for some advice, really, if I'm honest. So she's only 5, right? Yeah. But she does not handle losing well at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, for example, we've got this game of Disney princesses, which is basically like Ludo, where you go around the board and then you get to take each other's pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
And if it looks like things aren't going very well, she will literally swipe the board clear of all the characters and storm off.
Yeah.
So I've taken, and I'm not sure if this is the right thing to do or not, to if she does lose, really laying it on thick. So, you know, like, loser, you lost to daddy, get in there, daddy. In an attempt to try and desensitize her to the pain of loss.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm just psychologically damaging her.
Maybe, but what I could recommend is a game called Zombie Kids Evolution, which is a brilliant, fun game for families and young kids. I play it with my 5-year-old daughter as well, and it's a phenomenal game. Each game only lasts about 5 minutes, but you'll probably play it 3 or 4 times each time because it's so fun. But the way the game works is it's a legacy game. What legacy means is you will permanently change the game each time you play it by adding stickers to the board, to the components within the board, and as you progress in the game, you will earn points, and even if you lose the game, and you're playing this competitively, so it's not like you will beat her if she loses, it's just you as a group will lose to the board. But if you lose, you still get a sticker to progress. It's just how, if you win, you'll get to progress quicker. But as you progress, you'll then be able to open envelopes, and in the envelopes are these cool new components and pieces that you can use in the game. There's 13 envelopes to open in the game, which gets kids so excited because they're not just playing a new game the first time, they're playing a new game every time they open one of those 13 envelopes. So the fact that it's cooperative rather than competitive, the fact that when you lose you still progress is perfect, I would suggest, for your daughter. That's Zombie Kids Evolution. That's by a company called Scorpion Mask. It's such a fun game. People should definitely check that one out.
I'm going to check it out. Thanks. Yeah.
Stop calling your daughter a loser as well, Nick.
Yeah.
What else do you want to flag up then? Because we got a lot. I suppose we're looking at not as many people being allowed at Christmas. But if that were to change, and then I would imagine when we get to bigger get-togethers and everything, what are good games for large numbers of people to play?
Well, there's a really fun game called Decrypto. So there's a board game website out there that ranks the thousands of board games that are out there, and Decrypto is ranked the #1 party game. So this works similar to Top of the Pops in pretty much any number. You just split into 2 equal teams, and what you're doing on your team is you have a code that you have to give to your team that your team will understand, and you do it in a vague enough way that they get it, but not so much that the opposition team can intercept your code. It's really fun game. It scales just like Top of the Pops brilliantly. It could work in a 2v2 with just 2 couples chilling on a couch. You don't need to set up on a table. If it's coming to the end of Boxing Day and you're a little bit knackered, just relax on the couch and take it easy. Or if we're allowed, you can take it down the pub and play in an environment there because there's so few parts and pieces to take out. It's just such a fantastic game. That's called Decrypto, and I would highly recommend that people check that one out. It's so good.
Well, thank you for recommending and flagging up a few for us this morning, Jim. Really appreciate it.